Hare Krishna. Today we will be discussing chapter 15 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, text 16th translation. There are two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every entity is called infallible. As already explained, the Lord in the incarnation as a Vyasadeva compiled the Vedanta Sutra. Here the Lord is giving in summary the contents of the Vedanta Sutra. He says that the living entities who are innumerable can be divided into two classes, the fallible and infallible. The living entity are eternally separated parts and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When they are in contact with the material world, they are called Jiva Bhuta, and the Sanskrit word given here, Sarvani Bhutani, means that they are fallible. Those who are in oneness with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, are called infallible one. Oneness does not mean that they have no individuality, but that there is no disunity. They are all agreeable to the purpose of the creation. Of course, in the spiritual world there is no such thing as a creation, but since the Supreme Personality of Godhead has stated in the Vedanta Sutra that He is the source of all emanations, that conception is explained. According to the statement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, there are two classes of men. The Vedas give evidence of these, so there is no doubt about it. The living entities who are struggling in this world with the mind and five senses have their material bodies which are changing as long as living entities are conditioned. Once body changes due to contact with the matter, matter is changing. So the living entity appears to be changing, but in the spiritual world, the body is not made of matter. Therefore, there is no change. In the material world, the living entity undergoes 6 changes: birth, growth, duration, reproduction, then dwelling with the vanishing. These are the changes of the material body. But in the spiritual world, the body does not change. There is no old age, there is no birth, there is no death. All exists in oneness. It is more clearly explained as Sarvani Bhutani. Any living entity who has come into contact with matter, beginning from the first created being Brahma down to the smallest ant, is changing its body. Therefore, they are all fallible in the spiritual world. However, they are always liberated in oneness. Text 17 translation. Besides these two, there are the greatest living personality, the Lord Himself, and who has entered into these worlds and is maintaining them. This verse is very nicely explained in Katha Upanishad and Svetasvara Upanishad. It is clearly stated there that above the innumerable living entities, some of whom are conditioned and some of whom are liberated, there is the Supreme Personality of who is Paramatma. The Upanishadic verse runs as follows: Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. The purport is that amongst all the living entities, both conditioned and liberated, there is one Supreme Living Personality, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who maintains them and gives them all the facilities of enjoyment according to the different work. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in everyone's heart as a Paramatma. A wise man who can understand Him is eligible to attain the perfect peace, not others. It is incorrect to think the Supreme Lord and the living entities as being on the same level or equal to all aspects. There is always the question of superiority and inferiority in their personalities. This particular word, Uttama, is very significant. No one can surpass the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Loke is also significant because in the Purusha, Vedic literature it is stated Lokayate Vedhathoyenena. The Supreme Lord is in His localized aspect as a Paramatma explains the purpose of the Vedas. The following verse also appears in the Vedas. The super soul coming out of the body enters the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. Then in his form he remains in his spiritual identity. The Supreme is called the Supreme Personality. This means that the Supreme Personality is exhibiting and diffusing His spiritual effulgence, which is the ultimate illumination. The Supreme Personality also has a localized aspect as Paramatma by incarnating Himself as the son of Satyavati and Parasara. He explained the Vedic knowledge as a Vyasadeva. Text 18 translation. Because I am transcendental beyond both the fallible and infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as a Supreme Person. No one can surpass the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, neither the conditioned soul nor the liberated soul. He is therefore the greatest of personalities. Now it is clear here that the living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are individuals. The difference is that the living entities, either in the conditioned state or the liberated states, cannot surpass in quantity the inconceivable potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 19 translation. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is to be understood as the knower of the everything, and he therefore engages himself in full devotional service, O son of Bharata. There are many philosophers' speculations about the constitutional position of a living entity and the Supreme Absolute Truth. Now, in this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead clearly explains that anyone who knows Lord Krishna as a Supreme Personality, Supreme Person, is actually the knower of everything. The imperfect knower goes on simply speculating about the Absolute Truth, but the perfect knower, without wasting his valuable time, engages directly in Krishna consciousness, the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Throughout the whole Bhagavad Gita, this fact is being stressed at every step. And still there are so many stubborn commentators on Bhagavad Gita who consider the Supreme Absolute Truth, the living entity, to be one and the same. Vedic knowledge, also called Shruti, learning in oral reception. One should actually receive the Vedic message from authorities like Krishna and his representatives. Here Krishna distinguishes everything very nicely, and one should hear from this source. Simply to hear like the hogs is not sufficient. One must be able to understand from the authorities. It is not that one should simply speculate academically. One should submissively hear from Bhagavad Gita that these living entities are always subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who is able to understand this according to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, knows the purpose of the Vedas. No one else knows the purpose of the Vedas. The word bhajate is very significant. In many places, the word bhajate is expressed in relationship with the service of the Supreme Lord. If a person is engaged in full Krishna consciousness and devotional service of the Lord, it is to be understood that he has understood all the Vedic literature and knowledge. In the Vaishnava Purana Parampara, it is said that if one is engaged in devotional service of Krishna, there is no need for a spiritual process to understand the Supreme Absolute Truth. He has already come to the post because he is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. He has ended all preliminary process of the understanding. Similarly, if anyone after speculating for hundreds and thousands of lives does not come to the point that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that one has to surrender there, all his speculation for so many years and lives is useless waste of time. Text 20 translation. This is the most confidential part of Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfections. The Lord clearly explains here that this is the substance of all revealed scriptures, and one should understand this as it is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus one will become intelligent and perfect in transcendental knowledge. In other words, by understanding this philosophy of Supreme Personality of Godhead and engages in his transcendental service, everyone can become freed from all contaminations of the modes of material nature. Devotional service is a process of spiritual understanding. Wherever devotional service exists, the material contamination cannot coexist. Devotional service to the Lord and the Lord Himself are one and the same because they are spiritual. The internal energy of the Supreme Lord, the Lord, is said to be the sun, and the ignorance is called darkness. Where the sun is present, there is no question of darkness. Therefore, whenever devotional service is present under the proper guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, there is no question of ignorance. Everyone must take to this consciousness of Krishna and engage in devotional service to become intelligent and purified. Unless one comes to this position of understanding Krishna and engages in devotional service, however intelligent he may be in the estimation of some common man, he is not perfectly intelligent. The word Anagha, by which means Arjuna is addressed, is significant. Anagha, O sinless one, means that unless one is free from all sinful reaction, it is very difficult to understand Krishna. One has to become free from all contamination, all sinful activities, then he can understand. But devotional service is so pure and potent that once one is engaged in devotional service, he automatically comes to the stage of sinless one. sinlessness. While performing devotional service in the association of pure devotee and full Krishna consciousness, there are certain things which require to be vanquished altogether. The most important thing one has to surmount is weakness of the heart. The first fall down is caused by the desire to lord it over the material nature. Thus one gives up the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord. The second weakness is the heart, that is, one increases the propensity of lording it over to the material nature. He becomes attached to matter and the possession of matter. The problem of material existence are due to these weaknesses of the heart. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of 15th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of Purushottama Yoga, the yoga of the Supreme Person. Hare Krishna, keep listening for the chapter 16. Thank you so much.